So you've decided to build a house, and you don't know where to start. Well, I can tell you the process can be daunting if you've never gone through it before. I want to take you through the feasibility study I did on building my modern cabin. Before you lay out any money on land that you won't be able to build on, or buying some of those plans that you can't ever get approved or use. Hopefully, this video will help you through that process. I hope you can live through my experience and learn from it. Join me on this very rare opportunity for me to take cameras into a county courthouse and record the building permit process.
Hi there.
Hi. I am looking at building a house, so I need to get a permit and don't know how to go about that.
Okay, you're in the right building, but I'm going to send you down to the other office.
Now this might seem like it's a little bit of a runaround, and it can be frustrating, but remember, these people are here to help you, and you're not getting what you want without their help. Building a house here, so I don't know the process of getting a permit.
It's the land use office, which is right down this hallway, the third door on the right.
Okay, well thank you.
Thank you.
Now here's a really big tip. If you want to win at this, you're going to have to leave your ego out in the truck.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, we're looking at building a house here, and I need to find out about the permit process and what do all I need to do and paperwork, and really this is just a feasibility of if we can build here.
Absolutely.
Now we've had a piece of land here for over 20 years. We've never used it, so now I'm kind of in an opportunity where I can.
Okay.
So as far as permits, what do I need to do?
Well, hold on just a second and I'll print you one out. Well, it's printing one of your questions.
All right, well, big questions are plan review. What do we do for a plan review?
All we need is when you fill out the application for the building permit, there'll be a whole series of things that you need to provide
Okay,
with the permit. Bring them back to the office. That'll include a site plan.
okay,
Because we don't have building codes, then we don't go into a detailed review.
okay,
So we need a site plan and we need a floor plan that shows the footprint of what
Okay.
you're going to put on the land.
and square footage and that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The paperwork, does it have the setbacks? Because I'm on a corner lot. Is that
No.
different?
No, you'll have to go into we've got our zoning regulations
Okay.
on our website.
Okay.
And you can go in there and look at that and find out. We can help you determine what your zoning district is.
Okay.
And then you can look that up in your zoning regulations and that'll give you height and setbacks and the whole bit.
Does that have all like the HOA stuff
No.
and the CCRs?
No,
Okay.
that's just the county zoning regulations. You'll
Okay.
have to check with your HOA
Okay.
to determine what the covenants are.
All right. I got restrictions and regulations. Is there a minimum and maximum of square footage that I can build?
We have a minimum of 500 square feet
Okay.
footprint.
So 500 square foot is the minimum. Do you guys get into color and details in
No.
review?
No,
How about style of house?
no.
Okay, so no. And can I build an earthship?
As long as it's attached to the ground and isn't a mobile home, yes.
Okay, so no mobile homes.
Well, again, that depends on your zoning district, but most of our districts do prohibit mobile homes.
Okay. Straw bale house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I build a shipping container house?
That's a little bit trickier because there does need to be permanence on the ground.
Okay.
So if you're going to do something like that, it needs to be affixed to the ground, whether you're going to put it on a stem wall or a foundation or put it over a basement or whatever. It has to be affixed to the ground.
Okay. A tiny house?
You can build a tiny house, again, as long as it's affixed to the ground and encompasses a 500 square foot.
Okay, so it has to have a permanent
Footprint.
foundation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if it's a tiny house. But it has to, can it be smaller than the 500 square
No.
foot? So 500 square foot, even on a tiny house. Permits and costs.
Okay, let me get the permit application. This is a brand new lot, it's never been built on.
Never.
Okay, So there's two applications here. One is for your sewer system, which we recommend you take care of that first.
Okay.
You'll fill this out, and then we will put you in touch with our OWTS inspector, who will then guide you through the process of getting test pits, determining soil types,
All right.
so on and so forth.
Okay.
There's a possibility that you might have to do an engineered system depending on what your soil type is, but if that were the case, then we can help you locate an engineer and they can
All right.
take you from there.
There's no well on the property. How do I do the well?
You need to get a hold of the Division of Water Resources. You can find their number online. It's
Okay.
really easy to look up.
All right. So I go separately for a well.
You need to get a well permit and then, of course, find a driller.
Okay. Do I have to have the well before I build?
No.
Okay. Do I have to have the septic before I build?
You have to have the permit in place and the plans ready
Okay.
before you build.
So that has to be approved first.
Mhm.
All right. How about electric and plumbing?
That is inspected by the state.
Okay.
For our county, we do not have county regulations to inspect against, so it's whatever the state
Okay.
does. And at this point in time, we do not review those
Okay. So
inspections.
there's no review on the electrical plan or the plumbing plan, but that all goes through the state.
Mhm.
So I permit through them separately,
Mm-hmm.
and they send out their own inspectors.
Mm-hmm.
So the county doesn't do that.
No.
And how about the setbacks?
The setbacks, we will have an inspector. Once you have been issued your permit, the inspector will be notified. He will get in touch with you when you are ready to form up your foundation or stem wall or whatever you
Okay.
choose to. Then he will come out. You need to notify him. He will come out and do the setback review before you pour concrete.
Okay.
And here's your building permit application.
All right.
So the cost of this is $500. The permit for the house will be completely dependent on the square footage and the type of house that you're gonna build.
Okay.
We have a formula that we plug all that information into and it spits us out. There's also a use tax that is collected.
What's a use tax?
Use tax, it was designed to offset building material purchases outside of the county, make up that sales tax revenue.
So it's an incentive
To buy local. Because if you buy local, then you will get a refund up to the amount that you paid initially against that use tax. So
Okay.
yes, if you buy local, you're gonna end up paying less tax.
Okay. A bunch of pages here without.
Most of it is verbiage. If you just go through and check the boxes.
Okay. I don't know that there's a HOA. Do I have to go before them before I bring it back to you, or
Only
go
if-
through you first?
The only time you need to deal with the HOA is if they have an architectural review.
Okay.
If they don't have an architectural review, the county ordinances apply.
Okay. Good. If I'm missing anything, what kind of questions do you normally hear that I haven't asked yet?
You've pretty much asked everything that we ever hear.
Okay.
The setbacks, I think, are for us the most critical, making sure
Okay.
that your site plan shows the appropriate setbacks, and the setback inspector comes out to ensure that you're building what you said you're going to build,
Mhm.
and he'll come back when you're done to determine that you built what you said you were going to build.
So should I stake it out first and have him come out?
Yes.
Okay,
Stake
that
it
way I
first.
don't dig
Mhm.
anything yet and waste that money. How long does this take? How long before I can get my permit after I bring this back?
If you bring everything that we've asked of you here, it'll take 30 minutes.
I can be done today.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
You can be.
I guess my wife and I better talk about what we want to build.
That's right.
And then come up with a plan
Okay,
and
perfect.
and some money. All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you
to
very much.
See you.
Thank
Good
you very
luck
much.
in your build.
All right. Thanks. I do have a couple of more questions.
Sure.
For the most part, I'm going to be building this house by myself, but on some things, I'm going to need some help. Do you have any recommendation on any contractors or local general labor that I might be able to get?
Not that comes to mind. Help's really hard to get around here. Our contractors are busy. Everybody that is good is working, and if they're not good, they're not working. You're better off looking for your own.
If they're good, they're working, and if they're not working,
They're not good.
okay. So should I bring my own help?
Yes, absolutely. Bring your own help or put something in the paper, because
Okay.
most of our contractors have a team working, and there's not a lot of
All right.
temporary help available.
Yep, I'm going to try to fit in there. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm looking at getting a permit to build a house, and so do you have the information for like my lot and my address? And
Yes, I do. I can print that up for you.
okay, great.
Okay. Here we have the lot information,
Right.
and this also includes the plat map of the property.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I got to tell you, that was one of the simplest, easiest, painless processes for looking at getting a permit that I've ever experienced. Now, this county doesn't have inspectors, they don't have a plan review, they don't have engineering review. Zoning, we do have to look at zoning, and I have to match their qualifications. Everything else was really simple. They were really nice. Sometimes you just almost get in a fight and people come across the counter at you because you're asking them to do their job, or you're asking for information that they have that they're not willing to give you unless you ask for it. This was painless. So it's not exactly like that everywhere you go. So that's one of the things you're going to experience on your own. One of the things that was the biggest revelation maybe is that right now everything's going well. There's lots of building. Everybody's in demand, and contractors, subcontractors, and helpers, and just general labor is in a high demand here because we're out in the middle of nowhere, so there's not a whole lot of people to draw from in that pool. So I might even have to follow that recommendation and bring my own help. And so that is interesting. The other thing is weather. Now, one of the great things about this, while I don't even have plans yet, we don't know what we're going to build yet. My wife and I will go home and we'll talk about this and decide what we think we can build, what we can afford, what we can set a budget for, and also time will allow us, and we also don't want to overbuild for the neighborhood. So these are all things to really super consider. So we'll go make a plan and that we're okay with, bring it to them, submit that. It looks like we can walk out in the same day with a building permit, and then we're off to the races and finding some contractors for doing the well and the septic. I think this is going to work out pretty well. Again, there's always going to be surprises. The weather hasn't even started yet, so that's something else to consider. All right, but this can be done. This is all the things that have to be done long before you stand up any walls. Building a house starts in the office and on the paperwork.